Do you have a few minutes?
I gotta make some changes in my life. Do you even realize what your life means?
Morning Cup of Joe, a Missouri S&T podcast using pop culture to destigmatize mental health.
Fake laugh, hiding real pain.
Do not self-destruct.
I didn't ask for this to happen.
Join us in using everyday examples to explain usable techniques to help improve your mental well-being.
Stay a while and listen.
Welcome back, minors. My name is Traci Kriegel, and I'm a counselor here at Student Wellbeing.
And I'm Amber Johnston. I'm also a counselor here at Student Wellbeing, and it's time for your Morning Cup of Joe.
So, Amber, have you heard that saying that only the strong survive?
Yeah, I've heard it. I don't know how much weight I put into it because I think it's fairly inaccurate.
Yeah, I've heard that saying, but, I don't agree with it either.
Well, if you think about it, there are a lot of people who have succeeded after failure. Like, we did a whole podcast on that, last year, the year before last, about people who've succeeded after, being rejected. So we talked about, Stephen King and how many times it took him to get his first novel published, and now he's changed writing genre. How many movies are based off of Stephen King novels?
Yeah,
and then you start looking at the people that are objectively, or the even, let's go into music.
Good topic. Who doesn't listen to music, right?
Right. But the bands that are objectively not the highest or the best, the most stellar in their individual components, that put together something that was just magic and really just hit on the masses, and people really appreciated them and they got a lot of success. So examples of that, and nobody hate me for this, please. But I love Nirvana, but let's be honest. And it was hugely impactful on me in my childhood. But Nirvana, objectively, the singing and the overall music isn't very complex. It's pretty simplistic, and it's not the most structurally perfect.
Yeah.
Another band that falls into that I've seen, and I've seen a lot of Nirvana T-shirts running around on students.
I love Nirvana. I mean, it's good music to listen to. Mm-hmm. But if you had a music theory person who was to dissect it, I know, and I appreciate exactly what you're saying, because it's not the hardest music probably to play. Mm-hmm. So all of our musicians and music theory people out there, you can attest to this. So
it's not the most perfect.
Right, exactly.
Well, and another example would be Green Day. And I've seen Green Day become very popular.
Green Day. Love their music. Yeah, it's awesome.
And it's very popular, becoming popular again. I'm seeing a lot of Green Day T-shirts. I'm seeing a lot of people, walking around with, various paraphernalia from Green Day. And the music itself it's not bad. If it was bad, it wouldn't be popular.
No, right. It's good. People like it.
Yeah, people like it. It speaks to them.
Yes.
But if we were to put it up as music theory standards, is it perfect? Is it fit into that mold of what music is theoretically supposed to be like? Yeah. No, but is it give you something that speaks to your soul?
Yeah, it's enjoyable.
Yeah.
You like it.
Right.
Yeah, it's good.
Well, and let's go into another aspect. Let's talk about not music theory, but let's go into competitions. What about American Idol?
Yeah. That's a big one.
You're thinking the same thing.
Woohoo, yeah.
So if we look at American Idol, how many people lost American Idol and then went on to become fairly famous?
Right, we don't hear about all those people all the time.
Okay, well, Jennifer Hudson.
Ooh.
Bet you've heard about her.
Of course we have.
Yeah, she went on to make Dreamgirls and all that.
True.
And then you've got Adam Lambert. He was a runner-up in season 8.
Yeah, okay.
And now He's lead singing for Queen. Like, I mean, how could you be more successful than lead singing for Queen? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Hello.
Well, they don't tell you the story, though, about how, like, if you're not number one, but then that kind of becomes your past story.
Uh-huh.
Right, so that's the past story. So
Right.
hold on to that thought, people that are listening to this, because that's your past story.
Right.
It's your past story. So,
And you have your whole future laid out before you.
that's right, that's that future story.
Mm-hmm.
So Adam Lambert is successful today.
Yeah, he's hugely successful today. We've
Right.
got Chris Daughtry. Chris Daughtry became like a really several like absolute hit singles within the alternative genre.
But he
And then-
wasn't number one.
No, he came in 4th place in season 5.
4th place.
Yeah, and then Todrick Hall,
Mm-hmm.
like Todrick Hall, like I can't even tell you how many videos I've seen of Todrick Hall. Jimmy Allen,
Mm-hmm.
Lauren Elena is really popular, and Kelly Pickler, they're both really popular on the country set.
Right.
So you have all of these people that objectively lost American Idol,
But they're phenomenal artists.
and they're doing fantastic.
And their wealth is in the millions.
Hmm. And how many of the people that won American Idol do we not hear a whole lot about?
Yeah, number one, that just kind of have faded off into the background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the people that were that objectively lost, or that came in runner up, or came in, like Adam Lambert came in he was runner up. It was Jennifer Hudson, came in 7th place.
7th place.
Yeah. And she's objectively one of the most important, like most influential people on this list, or the most successful people on this list.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yes, you don't have to be number one to be good at what you're doing.
no, it's not about being the best. It's not about being the winner. Yeah, you don't have to be perfect.
Yeah, you gave some really good examples here. So this is going to be the focus of our podcast today. So for all of you incoming first-year students, we're going to do some interviews today. You're going to hear them. We're going to flash over to some interviews with some incoming students, and might hear some of their parents in the background and things. But we're going to talk about the preparation that they're taking for what coping skills, some of the unknowns of college life. But we know college is stressful, and we want to see how those students and their families are prepared for the transition from high school to college. And we're going to talk about a lot of different things, some of the resources we're going to give you. But the whole basis of this podcast today is we're going to bust that myth of the survival of the fittest. So let's flash over there and see what these college students and some of their parents have had to say about how they prepared for transitioning to college. Welcome back, minors. My name is Tracy Kriegel. I'm a counselor here at Student Wellbeing. We are joined today by one of our incoming freshmen. We've got a question here at our Morning Cup of Joe podcast, and we're going to hop over in and let him tell you who he is and get a question for him today. So tell me what your name is.
I am Jacob Wilkerson. I am from Muscuda, Illinois.
Wonderful. So let me ask you a question. So what have you done to mentally prepare yourself for being in college at Missouri S&T?
To be honest, not a whole lot. Basically just kind of putting myself in the right mindset of this is going to be different than college, and kind of expecting not exactly like what I would see on TV, but something between that and high school in the sense of studying time, of course, like all the partying, all that stuff, all the fun stuff, just kind of like taming my expectations, make sure it's not something that's like out of reach and like this like overbearing like Mount Everest of a task to overcome, but like thinking in terms of like just taking one semester at a time makes it a lot more manageable for me personally. Yeah, that's about how I think I'm prepared.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much. Students, we don't have to do a whole bunch of work to be mentally prepared for being here at Missouri S&T. But if you find yourself struggling, we're here at Student Wellbeing, and you can always check us out. We've got lots of services available for you. So we appreciate you participating, Jacob. Thanks. All right, I'm here with our next student. I'm going to ask her our next question and her name. So tell me what your name is.
Olivia Bradfield.
And where are you from, Olivia?
Altamont, Kansas.
Ooh, fun place. And so tell me what you're going to be majoring in.
Physics.
Ooh, fun degree. So do you feel comfortable asking for help?
Yes.
And so any challenges when it comes to asking for help?
Sometimes it can just feel kind of vulnerable, but if you get over that, asking for help is 100% worth it.
Absolutely. So when you're here on campus, one of the things we always encourage students, if you feel like you're struggling in class, don't be afraid to ask that professor for help. That's one of the things that they actually want you to do is ask for help. We don't know if you're struggling, so reach out to your advisor, reach out to your professor. One of the things in student well-being that we have is care managers, and those care managers are always willing to step in and help be that advocate for you with your professors. So if you find yourself sick, and maybe you've got to go home because you're ill, or if, the worst thing is, for a lot of people, sometimes they have someone pass away, and they have to go home for an extended period of time. Those care managers can be that support person to help intervene. So we always encourage students, if you need help, we've got lots of people here on campus that can be those support people for you. And here at Student Wellbeing, that's our goal, is always to support you as a student and make your stay here and your time at campus be successful, so that when you get to graduation, you can walk across that stage and say, I did it, Mom, Dad. So while you're here, let us know if you need help, okay? Thanks for participating.
So I'm here with Lexi, and our question for you is, have you ever thought of creating a time management plan?
Yes, absolutely. I think that it would benefit me in a lot of ways to make a plan.
Okay. What kind of time management plan do you think would be the most helpful?
One that kind of puts me ahead of time, I think, because normally I procrastinate, so if I set like a plan that's 30 minutes ahead of when I'm supposed to do it, I'll probably actually get to it on time.
That sounds like a good plan. I think most of us are guilty of procrastinating at some point.
Yeah, no doubt.
So we are here today with
Grace Diggs.
and I wanted to ask you a question. What activities do you engage in to promote mental health and well-being?
I was in my high schools, presidenters such as mental illness and trying bias mental, as well as in middle.
Wonderful. It sounds like you've got a pretty good...
I think I'm glad.
Wonderful. Thank you.
All right, I'm here with our next student, and I'm going to ask him his name. So what's your name?
My name is Dean Witzig.
All right, awesome. So where are you from, Dean?
I'm from Gridley, Illinois.
Perfect. I'm not sure where Gridley's at, but...
Around Bloomington. It's around Bloomington.
Oh, okay. I'm familiar with that. So tell me what you're majoring in, Dean.
I'm planning on majoring in aerospace or mechanical engineering.
Fun degrees. All right, so what kind of activities are you going to be looking forward to engaging in while you're here as a student at Missouri S&T?
Well, I'm quite excited to be part of the cross-country and track team and make some new friends there, and also just gain some fitness and run a lot. So.
Running a lot. Ooh, okay, cool. So any other activities you're going to be possibly joining as a group organization?
I'm not sure yet. Maybe I could find some clubs or some groups of people. I'm excited to make new friends and see what everything's about. Just discovering it as I go.
Perfect. Wonderful. So there's lots of registered organizations here on campus. We have close to 500 registered organizations here on campus. So while you're here, enjoy your time. And of course, being in the athletics department, I'm sure you're going to make a lot of friends while you're here on campus. So yeah, so students, if you're looking for organizations and you're just not sure what to join, there are peer involvement advisors over at Havener. Feel free to schedule an appointment with one of them, and I'm sure they will get you hooked up with an organization. And check out MinorLink. There's all kinds of activities and events that are posted there. You can find out what's going on. So thank you so much, and I appreciate your participation, Dean. Thanks. All right, students, so I'm here with my next interviewee, and she's going to talk to you about, do you feel uncomfortable by talking to your professor? So let me ask her what her name is and where she's from.
Hi, I'm Bridget. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. I'm actually a transfer student from St. Louis Community College, and I do have a little bit of anxiety talking to professors, but I mean, everyone gets that. But I do come from a class where the average size was like 13, and I'm very used to professors being a little hands-on and just being so easy to access. So switching to an actual university, I am a little bit nervous, but I mean, that's with every campus. Once you get to know your professors, I should be able to like open up a little bit better, but I do have a little bit of anxiety as to like reaching out to professors, so I'm hopefully like being able to break through that this year, to really get to understand my professors, and hopefully they can help me through it.
Absolutely. Well, I think you will find that our professors here at Missouri S&T are very open. So don't hesitate to stay and do office hours, ask questions, and send them an email. Because I believe everything that I've heard, the professors are very welcoming to answer questions. So welcome to Missouri S&T, Bridget. Okay, I'm here with our next student, and I'm going to ask her, let me have her introduce herself. So what's your name?
Hi, I'm Michaela Martin. I'm from St. Louis. I'm majoring in chemistry this year. I'm an incoming freshman. I'm really excited to be here.
And so we're kind of still busting that myth today on the survival of the fittest. So how would you react if you had a 65% in a class? Can you tell us what you would do?
Yeah, so a 65% is really scary for me. So the first thing I would do is kind of look over the test myself and seeing if I can find anywhere I went wrong. Maybe look at the professor's notes if they mark on it. And then I would go to the professor and be like, hey, like, can you help me? Like, I know it's really scary, but just being like, can you show me what I did wrong? And then I can maybe work it out on my own. I think that's always a good starting point.
Good answer. So, students, you're not alone when it comes to, getting maybe a low score. This is one of those things, coming to Missouri S&T, a lot of our students are used to A's, straight A's. And so it's hard when you see that score of 65%, you're thinking, oh my gosh, what did I do wrong? I'm a failure. Well, let me encourage you, you are not a failure. So please say that with me. I'm not a failure. And that's hard to think that because, it seems like our world comes to a crash. You're not. You're not a failure. One low test score. One thing that's nice to learn, if you're in chemistry right now and you're thinking, this is the worst test score I've ever gotten, some classes do great on a curve. Thank you. Yes. But hey, if you've gotten a bad test score, we have support services here on campus. There are lead sessions. There's people that you can get tutors over at the Student Success Center. So don't hesitate to reach out. And I love your answer. You said you would go to the professor.
Yes.
That is one of the best things that you could do. Email the professor, ask for help. So you have a good plan.
Thank you.
So hang in there. So I appreciate you participating today. So students, you've got this. Remind yourself you've got this. And there is nothing set in stone that says you have to finish in 4 years. I think that's a myth in itself. Pace yourself, take it slow. You can finish this. It's a race. It seems like it's a race, but slow down. You've got this. And so if you get a bad score, or even if you have to take a class a second time, it doesn't matter. C's still make engineers. You've got this, okay? So thank you so much for participating.
Wow, there were a lot of good takeaways from those interviews. So, can we put a list together for our listeners today to help them with some tips and to know what surviving college isn't just about the survival of the fittest, but more about the resources that they have available to them and how to apply those resources?
Absolutely, Amber. So let's start by taking it slow. College is not a marathon. There's no written rule that we must finish our bachelor's degree in 4 years or a master's in 2. I think that's just that myth. We have to, it's what I like to say, and I've heard you say this many times, be you and do you. I think that's just a phenomenal, underlying theme that you can take on. So take time all the time that you need to accomplish your goals at your pace. If you encounter a setback, it is not the end of the road. It could be the next step that sets you up for success. Mindset's the key that keeps us moving forward. Talk to your professors. Introduce yourself to them. This is that key for a lot of people. Don't be like that just fly on the wall, just sitting there listening. Your professor is not going to bite you. I promise you, he's not going to not going to bite you, nor will she bite you. Talk to them. The professor wants you to talk to them. They want you to be successful. And for example, if you're struggling with a physical health issue, email them the details. If you need help, collaborating and talking to your professor and you just feel like you need help, we have case managers over in student well-being. They can help also being that navigator and helping you to communicate with them. But if you're falling behind, be honest. Just ask for office hours. Ask to get in and talk to them. Attend lead sessions over at Student Success. They can help you with getting assistance. reach out for your professor's direction, and they'll let you know what avenues are for success. The key to this is, for everyone who's listening to this, if you don't communicate, you're never going to get help, and that's that key. So if you're feeling shy or you're introverted and you just don't know how to take that first step, just do it. Just ask, and you're going to find some liberation in that of going, oh, okay, it's not so scary. So
right.
Just ask.
Well, and I think, like, going from our lives when we are in high school and in our undergrads, our parents, there's so many rules about how we live and how we function, and you get to college and all those rules, like, they're still rules, but it's not the same. It's much more hands-off than it was when we were younger, and that can be a shock. It can be hard to navigate that and kind of figure out what direction. So, like, I remember when I was a freshman, like, I had a roommate in my dorm. We used to bicker. This is back when we had landlines, and I would use my internet in my landline. I used my landline for internet, and then it would tie up the phone. And then she would get upset, even if she wasn't home, because people couldn't call and leave messages, even though she wasn't there, and I only used the internet when she wasn't around. It caused strife between the two of us, and I had no idea what to do, how to manage that relationship. And, of course, I was very young, and I did not have conflict resolution skills like I do now, and I didn't know how to calm this situation, and it was uncomfortable. But for our students, you have resources, you have people you can talk to, you have counselors, you have people in care management that can kind of help you navigate those situations. So if you're falling behind and you need help, then absolutely do that. You can talk to your RA. If you need help with roommate management, you can talk to care management. If you need help with your classes, it's opening up and voicing that need and knowing who to talk to. And if you're stuck and you don't know who to talk to, come up, talk to us. We can help direct you in the right way.
And I couldn't agree with you more, Amber. Students should feel confident and safe while residing on campus. I think the next tip I would add to that is maintaining balance. We all know that college life can get stressful, so not letting it get the best of you, I think, is a really good key. And that's hard because finding balance is, tough at every level. But when you're in college, there's a lot of demands, and knowing what balance looks like is kind of tough.
And it's so important, and we don't realize how important that balance is. I've seen a lot of fun stuff about how through going through campus throughout the semesters, and having, because I went here for a while, like in the middle of my college career, I appreciate getting to participate in all of the events and the things that they do. Like, they have a rock wall in the spring, and they do hammocks in front of Norwood, and they do so many great activities around St. Pat's. Like, they're out there with the shillelaghs, feeding the snakes. Like, you can't, that not only is the activity like a stress reliever, but watching them, and it's just, there's something about it that just kind of helps bust that. Yeah. And so being able to look at, how do I balance my life? How do I reduce my stress levels? How do I make sure that I keep myself healthy and more balanced?
Yeah. Over at the Student Success Center, they have success coaches too that are really great at helping you with that. So, and I wanted to add to that, I think we can't forget that they have massage chairs over in
forget the massage chair.
Yeah, in the Oasis. But last year they opened up the Innovation Lab, so they have a room specifically dedicated to. It's called the Oasis, so it's a room you can actually get that room by yourself, and there's a massage chair in there. There's just it's kind of have the whole room has a really nice ambiance for just kind of de-stressing, and so students, if you're looking for a nice space, if you're just feeling overactivated and you want a nice calming room, that room over there is in the Innovation Lab on the second floor. So that's
Well,
a really great space. Great space.
Our little mini oasis that we have in the library,
Yes.
yeah, it's got that gray chair in it, and I like the chair is magic. Like I swear,
zero
there's
gravity.
like pixie dust in that chair or something. We have a lot of students that I've seen go over there, and they will lay in the chair and they'll scroll their phone. I've seen people like crocheting. I've seen people like doing, but it's a great place to kind of relax. That chair, I'm telling you, takes weight. Like it makes your back relax, like some kind of magic.
Yep, and it's designed for that. So if you have low back pain or pain in your back, it's called a zero gravity chair so that you can get pressure off the back side of your low back and upper back. But there's also a rocking chair there with, there's coloring pages there, and there's a sand tray, and just there's some nice plants and things there, but that's a really nice space as well. And we're actually looking at doing some construction in the Park Quiet Lounge. And that's actually going to be a new space that's going to be added to campus here in the near future. There will be a dedicated yoga studio, a dedicated meditation room. We're going to bring some outdoor elements into that space. So that's going to be a really nice area as well that'll be coming in the future for students to enjoy. That'll be a nice relaxation area as well for students that'll be coming to in the near future. So that's in the works right now too. So.
Well, I mean, they need it carrying around those heavy book bags all the time, the stress of classes, trying to balance everything. Like, that's a lot.
Yeah.
And then some of the other things we can do that aren't necessarily campus-like wide activities, but just things I can do as an individual, would be like taking a walk or like there are some really nice nature trails around here. You've got the Acorn Trail, you've got the Abashan Trail. That was right behind Minor Village.
Yeah, it's a great space. So, and you know, they do, I can't think what the name of it is, escaped me right now, but I know there's several groups and organizations here on campus that go down and they help and they volunteer there. So, but they've got a bird watching club here, and I don't think it's on campus, but it's here in the community that goes down and does things. And they go down, they do help with planting and just the geological group. They go down there and they do some testing and readings, and so there's just a lot of things that the actual campus does that actually supports that Abashan Trail. So that's kind of a really great space to go over to. So.
Well, and nature is so good about like helping with that relaxation and everything, and helping with that balance portion of things.
Yeah.
And you can also like work on trying to find a hobby. Like this is a great time where you're going to have the ability to explore your interest and see different hobbies and things. There's the ceramics club. There's a lot of people. Crocheting has become a huge comeback in the last couple of years. A lot of people are crocheting and knitting and doing those kind of things. I've seen a huge uptick in like quilting and things like that. And then there's always the classics: hiking, fishing, rock climbing, biking.
Yeah. Well, they just started a kickboxing club this last semester, which is really cool. You know, we toured the glass blowing shop. Yeah. And so people can actually get engaged in that glass blowing shop, which is really cool. If you're into glass blowing, that's like the coolest place to head out to. And so, you know, over in ceramics, those are some pretty cool places here on campus. So there's just some really neat opportunities here on our campus that you probably don't find in on other campuses. So if you want to check out with a peer involvement advisor, you can go over to Havener and schedule an appointment, because there's, over 250 organized clubs on this campus? Yeah, so there's so many things that you could explore.
Well, and even off campus, like there's a huge amount of activities and things going on in the surrounding communities too. We've got 2 gaming stores within walking distance of campus that have a variety of different events and things that go on. So if you're a gamer or you like tabletop gaming of any kind, whether it be card based or role playing based or whatever, if you're a tabletop gamer, there's tons of stuff going on there, and they have all kinds of events and things as well.
Yeah, so there's, if you like acting, with Ozark Actors Theater, that's just right uptown. You know, besides Leach Theater, they have all kinds of things here, you know, throughout the year that you can attend. But there's, if you like to, animals, you could go over and volunteer at the Humane Society. They let you walk dogs, pet dogs. there's just a lot of opportunities if you like to volunteer, you know, as well. At the hospital, they let people volunteer there as well. So there's so many activities. There's so many trails. If you do like to walk or hike, there's tons of trails around this area. So you can go Marguerite Bray. I love Marguerite Bray. That's a cool.
I do.
That's a really neat place too. And Merrimack Springs, gosh, you can go out to the trout for
Lane Springs.
Yeah, Lane Springs. So many different places. I mean, and we're not that far from St. Louis, so you can go up to Six Flags, you can go to the Arch, you can go to the zoo, the Botanical Gardens. So, you know, we're pretty close to a lot of things.
Yeah, Missouri's pretty famous, for those of you who aren't from Missouri. Missouri's pretty famous for the amount of conservation and conservation areas. We have state and federal parks here.
Yep.
And we're very close to Mark Twain. And there's trails there. Like, there's some pretty decent trails. And there are hiking specific trails, and then there are trails that are longer that are biking specific that can take several days to do.
Yeah, and if you've got a mountain bike, right over in Stillville, Missouri, which is just about 25 minutes from here, there's actually a mountain bike trail.
Yeah, that's what I was talking
so
about.
phenomenal, yeah. So we're on the same wavelength, yeah. So that's a really neat mountain bike trail that you can do.
It's gorgeous.
There's horseback riding here, even in Raleigh. So if you like to do horseback riding.
There's so many horse clubs in this area,
things,
too.
Yeah. So if you like to go zip lining, there's zip lining, canoeing, rafting. Gosh, there's so much stuff to do here in this area. So if you're bored,
Stillville is like the floating capital
of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's so many things. And I know fraternities and sororities, you know, they are out there trying to, you know, recruit new members to their homes. And I know they do a lot of activities like that as well. So Kokomo Joe's, you know, they've got the zone. So there's laser tag. There's also the Rage House is what
the Rage Room.
Rage Room, where you can throw things. Yeah.
Break stuff.
Stuff. That's so cool. The splatter walls where you can splatter paint on everything.
Yeah.
There's an escape room. So there is really a lot of stuff. And, you know, if you are into like history, Fort Leonard Wood is just 25 minutes west of here. There's some really neat things that are just right on base where you can get on and you can see a lot of history of the military. So there's 2 museums up there. If you would like to go up there, you have to actually, you know, I think you have to check to where you can go in. But it is so phenomenal. There's like World War II history, Vietnam history. There's 2 really neat museums up there that you can visit if you're really interested in some of those history type activities. There's actually a rock museum here in Raleigh too. So it's a geological rock history, a rock museum too here in Raleigh, which I did not know until I wrote the homesick course. So that's a really neat area that you can visit too here in Raleigh. So
there are so many historical sites in Missouri that people don't realize that are here. Like you've got like the old ironworks, and you've got like you mentioned Merrimack Springs, and they've got stuff there where you can see old buildings, where old buildings sat, where there were like ironworks and things.
The furnace,
the furnaces and stuff. Like they're set up. There's multiple buildings. I don't know what they all are, but
if you're walking around, you can find iron ore that's on the ground.
Yeah, it's so cool. And there's a little tiny museum. It's not huge, but it's just really cool being able to see the framework of those old buildings.
Stagecoaches, some of the old plows and things that they used to use in the fields. And
there's a lot of places that are good for like day trips and like if you just get a group of friends together and want to make a day trip to go see something, you know, neat or cool.
Yeah. So many opportunities in this area. So if you find yourself bored, there's the homesick course that's on our Canvas courses, and there's a huge list of all these activities that we've kind of been going through. So you can check that out. So, or check out with a peer involvement advisor. They can hook you up with one of the campus groups. You can also, if you're listening to this podcast and you're right here at the very start of the semester, we have what's called Minorama. In the spring, we have Springorama, and around campus, typically around the Puck is usually where it's situated. You can visit with each club or organization and talk to them specifically. Usually it's a day-long event. Usually it's like 10 to 2 or something like that for Minorama. And this semester, it's on August 23rd during the fall. And you can check out with one of those organizations, meet with them personally, talk to them about the organization, what they do. Otherwise, you can get on MinorLink, and you can see when all these clubs and organizations meet and hopefully, join with one of the groups. They have most of the groups have Discords. You can kind of join with them, talk to them, check those out. There's a gaming club. There's, there's so many different organizations
There's
that you
Spectrum.
Spectrum.
So if we have any students that are coming onto campus that are part of the LGBTQ community, we've got Spectrum, and then there's also LGBTQ Rala available in the area too, and they do a lot of events together and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So whatever your needs are as far as groups, clubs, organizations, we've probably got you covered here on this campus.
Somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. So I think one of the last tips that we want to share with you today is as a student, if you need a safe space to speak with a counselor, to work through your emotions, and you want to schedule a confidential screening online, and this with the student wellbeing staff will help you with a variety of programs, whether it be through in-person or through a virtual counseling. We have groups and coaching. So we're here to help you.
That's right, Tracy. We're here Monday through Friday from 8 to 5. And if you're in crisis, or if it's after hours, or you feel like you need help immediately, we urge you to call 911 or text 988. You can call or text 988 and speak with somebody, like it's a mental health professional, like 24/7. We also have, if it's after hours or the weekend, we also have the Crisis Access Point, which is over on 10th Street, just across from Casey's. And that's a fantastic way if you're really struggling, you need to see somebody immediately, they're available.
Right. Yeah.
So Missouri S&T is a university that we driven to dig deeper to excel. Its official myth is busted. Survival of the fittest is out. The key to college success is balance. Strive to find balance, and your college career will set you on a fast track for success.
Absolutely, Amber. So as we close today, we'd like to send a shout out to all those students and parents who stopped by our booth at Meyer Bash. And thank you once again for being a part of the podcast today. So we encourage you to join activities, join events, get involved with your student career here at Missouri S&T, and just know that it's not about always being number one. You might be number 7, but in the end, if you stick to it, you may end up at the very end when your college career is over, when you're out there in the working world. If you stick with it and keep working at it, you may end up being number 1.
Right.
So this myth about the survival of the fittest is
busted.
Busted.
We need that, we need to pull this sound from Mythbusters. Busted.
I agree. Let's do it.
So the myth is busted.
Okay. So thank you for joining us this week, Miners, and we will see you next week.
Have a great day, Miners. If you like this podcast, please remember to like and subscribe. To schedule an appointment or to reach out to us about future topics you would like to see, please email us at wellbeing@mst.edu. You can also reach us by phone at 573-341-4211. We are located at 204 Norwood Hall.
I accept the challenge.
Get out there and do your best!
Hey, go easy on yourself. Come on now.
Now you're talking!
For more mental health and well-being content, please follow us on Facebook at Missouri S&T Wellbeing and on Instagram at S&T Wellbeing.
But most importantly,
never give up.